Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Courtney and I do videos having to do with PCOS or lifestyle videos or even our infertility journey. Today's video is going to be about our infertility journey. We are starting again. So I recently started a new job at Amazon, and if anybody knows anything about Amazon, they are excellent to their employees, and our insurance with them is amazing, especially for fertility treatments. They provide insurance coverage through a company called Progeny that works with your medical insurance to offer a very patient-oriented insurance experience for infertility. It is amazing, and if your company does not work with Progeny, I highly recommend you talking to your HR department and requesting that they look into it, because Progeny is amazing. We could not be doing this right now without them. So big thumbs up for Progeny. The one downside to having to go to Progeny was the clinic that I was previously working with for our infertility journey were not networked with their services. So we had to search out and look for a new fertility clinic, which we found, and it's actually closer than the one we were using before, so that's a good thing. We did have our first consultation with this clinic. We really hit it off with the new fertility doctor. He's amazing. He's very fact-oriented. He has excellent bedside manner, and what I mean by that is he lets you hope. He gives you the information factually, but he does allow room for you to hope, which I think at least I really need in a fertility journey, because my mind, the way it works already with my anxiety and everything, it automatically goes to the negative of every situation, what could go wrong, to help myself kind of better prepare for it, so my anxiety doesn't get the better of me in those situations, if that makes sense. So I think it was really important that our doctor did have that sense of providing you factual information based in real science. He's very science oriented, but at the same time giving you space and giving you words that allow you to hope, if that is making any sense. Anyway, we really enjoy him. We like his office, the nurses are great, and I'll go in more detail about all of that process in a later video, but I just wanted to hop on here today and tell you that we are starting again. We are so excited. We did have our first consultation, like I said, and we had the doctor kind of give it to us straight. He did kind of go into the fact that most doctors will usually, either require or request that you do 2 to 3 rounds of IUI before you move on to IVF, which we knew, but we just said, just give it to us straight. Like, is the IUI going to work? Do we have a better chance with IVF? What are the percentages? And basically the outcome was there is a higher percentage of possibility of a pregnancy if we went straight to IVF and not wasted time and money on doing IUIs. Chris and I talked about it and we really agreed. We think our best chance is with IVF, just because of past experience with other treatments that we've tried. I think because my body didn't respond well to meds that were given to me during the IUI process, I think my body just really needs the full-on let's go for it meds of IVF, if that makes sense. So we decided that we were going to do that. We're going to go for IVF. So here starts the journey. It's scary. I'm scared and nervous and excited, and every emotion and thought under the sun has gone through my head over the last week or so. Right now we're just trying to get all of the kind of odds and ends that you need to do before you can start an IVF cycle together. Blood work, Chris's semen analysis. We both had blood work done. I had to do one of those icky glucose tests, which was not that bad this time. The last time I did it, I got really, really sick. But this time it wasn't bad. So I don't know if that's attributed to the fact that I was doing keto at the time. But I don't know. It really wasn't bad this time, but they did take like 20 vials of blood when I went, which I thought I wasn't going to walk out of that office without any more blood in my body. But yeah, that part wasn't fun because I'm not super fond of needles. So this whole IVF process should be super exciting. But I'm learning to get better at it, and so hopefully it won't be a big deal. But so they gave us this checklist of things that we had to complete before we could start our IVF cycle. Some of the things on there were an IVF consent, disposition of the embryos, which I'll talk more about in another video because the consents and that disposition is a whole new thing. It's a whole thing, and I will talk about it in a separate video. And then we had to complete an STD panel. I had to do a hormone panel, which was the blood work I just talked about. Chris had to do an STD panel, and then his semen analysis. And then we also went ahead and got drawn for the genetic diseases, like Tay-Sachs and stuff like that. I can't pronounce all of them, so I'm not going to even try, but they test for like all the genetic things that could cause an issue with the embryo, or, you know, the baby could end up having like spina bifida and all that kind of stuff. And I can go into a more in-depth video on just the genetic screening if you want, and how we kind of decided to go about that process. But so we got that drawn. We had to do what they call I think it's what they call a financial teaching. I think is what they call it. But basically you sit down with one of the billing professionals, either by phone or in the office. We did it by phone. She emails you a sheet of the breakdown of like all the costs of the IVF stuff, what's covered under your insurance, what's not covered under your insurance, what may be covered, but you have to like get special authorization and all of that stuff. Like they break it all down for you so you know what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be, and etc. With Progeny, they bill Progeny for everything, whether or not you've met your deductible, whether or not you have out-of-pocket cost, any of that. It all gets billed to Progeny, and then Progeny bills you. I think all we had to do was like our deductible, and then when I meet because of the way my insurance is set up, when I meet my deductible, my out-of-pocket is met, because we have a joint deductible with me, because me and Chris are both on the policy. So we have a joint deductible but a separate out-of-pocket. So once we meet our joint deductible, then I've met my out-of-pocket, if that makes sense, because I'm the one that's filling up the I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I'm the one that's filling up the whole deductible, so therefore that is my complete out of cost. So I've met my out-of-pocket maximum by the time I've done the whole deductible. So there's no out-of-pocket cost for me other than the deductible. And then Progeny allows you to make payments on that amount while you're still doing like your treatments and everything, which I thought was like out of this world amazing. That I can't speak highly enough of the Progeny stuff. So if you want a full video on Progeny, I can do that. I just didn't think everybody would be interested in it because not everybody has this insurance. Not everybody is capable of getting this insurance. But if you have a good like relationship with your HR person in your office, or you can suggest this company to your HR department if you work for a bigger company, I highly recommend that you do so. Just leaving that out there. So we went through all of that, and they gave us the thumbs up from that end. And then we did what's called a nurse teaching, where they just kind of go over the more clinical side of everything. They give you some paperwork on what's involved in the IVF process, but they went over a sample calendar of what could possibly be my whole IVF cycle, which was super interesting, and I'll go into more detail about that as well in another video. But so we did all of that. We got our cost teaching, or our financial teaching, the nurse teaching. So once all that was done, I had to call the billing office back again, because you have to go do the nurse teaching and then you call them back, because then they set up what they call the initiation fee, but basically it's like your deposit for your cycle. But with Progeny, I didn't have to do that because it was done through Progeny, so that part was important. I just had to call the office, and then the office sent the email to the nurse that they can release us for a cycle. So currently they are in the process of putting together our cycle calendar and making sure everything on our checklist is done. But there was one other thing that I'm not super happy about, but a few years ago, I had a pulmonary embolism. They said it was situational. It was right after we had moved here, so I had went from doing a 14-hour trip here, and then like a couple of months later, we did a really long 16-hour car ride having to do with evacuating for a hurricane. So a trip that should have taken 8 hours to North Carolina to my sister's house ended up taking like 16 hours. And so they think that that's what caused it. But I was on blood thinners for like 6 months, and then they took me off and they tested me for blood clotting disorders, and nothing happened with that. So that all being said, they want me to see a maternal fetal medicine doctor to get a pregnancy release, meaning they want them basically to establish me as a patient and say, okay, yeah, we think we can control whatever is going on there when she's pregnant. So this issue is, the concern is that maternal fetal medicine doctors usually have like sometimes months wait to get in. And we really wanted to try and get into this next cycle of IVF. So we're not sure what's going to happen with that yet. The nurse is going to call me on Monday to talk about it, see where we can get in, see if we can get in time, blah, blah, blah. So we're waiting on that still, but I think it'll end up being okay. So with all that said, it's basically just a waiting game now to see, when we start, what day they want me to start, and we go from there. Because depending on what day they ask me to start my medications will kind of determine when we start doing the injections, when we have our monitoring appointments, and all of that good stuff. So we're excited. I'm apprehensive. I don't want to allow myself to get too excited about it, because I allowed myself to get super excited during the IUI process, and then that turned to all hell. Excuse my language. But I don't know. Something inside me is saying, just relax and let yourself be normal about this. Don't hold back, because holding back could be detrimental, because then you're stressed, and everybody knows in the fertility world that too much stress is not good. So I don't know how you cannot be stressed in this type of situation, how you cannot be anxious about it when a couple of months could basically be the culmination of like your hopes and dreams. So there's that. But I'm trying. Chris is being really great and supportive, and he's trying to help me relax and, not think too deeply about it, which I love about him. But yeah, so here we go. So let me know down in the comment section whether you or not you are interested in like a separate video about medication, a separate video about even the progeny stuff. Let me know what you want to hear about our journey. I am interested in, you know, kind of doing whatever. I'm an open book, so whatever y'all want to hear about, I will tell you about. With that being said, there are things obviously that we will not share, or we will probably wait to share, or we might need to process before sharing. But I find YouTube to be kind of like a cathartic situation, or a therapy, if you will. I sit here, I talk to you guys or the camera, and I let things off my chest, and then my artistic side takes over when I am able to edit the videos and kind of have fun with that. So it keeps me busy in this time, which helps me not think about things. So you guys let me know what videos you want so I can continue to do this and have my therapy. But anyway, that's all for today for this video. Look for another video soon, and we'll see you in the next one.